Other switchheads, Kanan here, once again with my review of Boreal Tenebrae, at least I think that's how it's pronounced. A story-driven quest game with multiple characters and even a horror and gore kind of ish theme. Interested? Well, why not subscribe for weekly reviews and sales videos and more? And give the video a like, as it really helps small channels like mine grow. Still interested? Engage. In a town where, and let's face it, everything looks odd. Some citizens have disappeared, absorbed by some strange boxes emitting a strange sound, and appeared from nowhere. With multiple characters to play and a sister to find, you need to work out what's going on, and fast. Firstly, this will be spoiler free, and due to the nature of the game, I'll be keeping as spoiler free as I can, showing mostly the start of the game. As you have guessed by now, Boreal is one of them adventure story types, close to those point and click games, but you get to move around the areas using the controller. And yes, as normal for these games, you get an inventory. Okay, so over to me to explain the finer things in life, eh? So basically there's a button that you can press and it'll tell you exactly, what you can interact with. And then you move around quite simply. Your inventory is here. And yep, you can combine items and the like. And yeah, it's pretty standard stuff in that way. The game plays through the eyes of several characters, all kind of linked in one way or another, but with kind of one real goal. The story is basically leading up for you to do something to get your sister back. And that's really not a spoiler, as it does actually say that in the blurb for the game. During your playthrough, you will be flittering through different places and meeting different people in different situations, all kind of coming together to tell a story that even has a real life meaning to it. Using the map, made up of CDs found in some areas to unlock other areas and continue the story, and transitions to new parts of the story. Yay, it's a kind of map. It says map up there anyway. But basically this is where you come and you get all these CDs that I'll explain more about as the review goes on. But these are kind of like almost portals to different parts of the story. It's kind of actually a neat idea. There's even cassettes that can be played for even more snippets of that story. Collecting items and using them, I found, was done in a unique way, as each character that finds something and puts it in their inventory shares it with the rest of the characters. And I felt this was a neat little trick, and led to times where you'll be finding stuff and kind of like working out where it fits, as you had more to think about then than just one character, one area, one item. And then there was that camera that you need to take pictures of some, let's say, graffiti like pictures. Collect these and hand them in for more memories. And so if we take a quick jog, you can run in this game over to here and then find one of these little logo things on the ground. Come across here, up to the camera, and this is a great example that items can be used, picked up by one character, but used by all the characters that you get to play. Click on it, rolling. So I'm not going to show you, well, it wouldn't serve me any good showing you anyway, because you can't see it now, but basically this is it. So you look around once you found one of these things for kind of like graffiti type thing. I'm not going to show you where I found this one because that will spoil it for you, but yeah, basically you're looking for them, and then once you find them, you take a quick picture or recording or however you want to call it, and then you get to have a memory from it once you've handed it in, of course. Interacting with the world is simple. Walk to an object and collect them. Hey. With places that you can actually go, and also advance the story showing up in red, and the colour teal shows up when there's produce that can be picked up and the like. Boreal is definitely an adult game with a horror feel to it at times, and even some bloody-ish moments. But saying that, there are moments of humour running through the game as well. It's definitely done in that classic static camera way that when moving around changes the perspective depending on where you're actually standing on screen. Okay, so what I meant by classic static camera is basically, as you can see, it's static, but obviously then when I move to a different area within this like area, it moves to another kind of like static area, and yeah, that kind of like goes on, and yeah, it's basically that, and it works quite well within this game, I have to admit. The world is actually pretty decent to be in, and I did actually enjoy moving around these locations, even though they are strange, weird, and at times chilling. And all of this while interacting with NPCs, doing some tasks for them even. Finding this to help progress the story is a definite must in this game, and also working out puzzles will also be top of your to-do list. At the start of the game, you feel like you're walking alongside the game, gently easing you into things. And while this feeling never really leaves you, it does get a little more complex the further in you go. I would say the worst part of this would be the fact that there are so many different areas, and each area has only a few seconds, a couple of seconds loading times, but when you're transitioning quite a lot between these areas, it does get a bit annoying. But thank you to the devs for at least trying to keep these times down as short as they can. I did also feel that at times it was a little confusing where to go in these areas. I found the inventory decent, but strange that some items that needed combining, but you have to do it in a certain correct way. So you can't combine a lighter with an item, but you can use item and just light it. The game is fun, and I did lose myself within its world. I felt the game was a little bit short, but then again they didn't ask for a stupid price for this one. As for those visuals of Boreal, well, it's actually pretty darn good looking, and in an old school sort of way, with some nice touches and details, with some places you go having a real amazing style to them, and with some real standout moments that I can't really spoil. Audio wise, the sound of the environments like cars and the like in the background really set the feel and helped make the game feel alive, even though they're kind of repeated over and over again. There's even some voiceovers, but not for the main chat, which was a shame. You all know I like to have an actual voiceover for everything. The music, however, can go from intense action to scary and even calming at times. I'd even go so far as to say that I enjoyed the music and songs so much that I would probably be happy to just listen to them on their own. The Good. A nice adventure and story that definitely felt a little different. I felt that they were trying to bring real world issues into the story, and luckily it worked and was not too in your face. And I definitely enjoyed the music and the visuals of the game. The Bad. Load screens got to be annoying even though, well, they didn't last very long. The inventory felt a little bit odd at times on how you actually combined items. It was not easy to navigate at times, maybe a little bit on the short side for some. Boreal is a nice retro revisit to the days when devs was not worried to make something truly bizarre and different, and it definitely deserves a 3 out of 5. While I know it won't appeal to everyone, I do think, however, fans of the game will appreciate it for what it is. And as usual, before we dive into the box of alternatives, why not subscribe to the channel for weekly reviews and sales, and even more so if you have enjoyed this one. Drop the video a like as it really helps the channel out. Aha! Here's the alternative, and today it's going to be Dexter Stardust Adventures in Outer Space. Yep, I reviewed this on the channel. It's quite a decent game. It definitely has that retro sound and look to it, and it's more of a point and click than a wandering around game, but it's still quite a decent game. and maybe definitely worth checking out after you've completed Boreal Tenebrae. That's really difficult to pronounce. And if you've got a better suggestion as an alternative, or you've got any thoughts about Boreal Tenebrae, leave them down in the comments. I try to answer as many as I can. And as usual, if you wish to continue the conversation, feel free to come and join our community Discord, where we're all like-minded people that like to come together and just chat about our favourite things, really. Because life is better when we switch together.